Hey everybody, Greg here, and this is another video in a series of videos about trails in the Iowa City area. As you can see behind me is the Iowa River Power Company. The parking lot here kind of empty right now. It's usually really busy during their dinner and lunch specials, particularly on Sunday mornings. They have a brunch that just the whole parking lot area that you see here gets filled up. And I'm going to ride to the kind of north end here of the parking lot to where you'll see some signage here that indicates the river landing. And I'm going to head north along the river here on this trail and show you kind of what it looks like if you were to come here to the Iowa River Power and jump on the trail and head this way. So here we go. So the trail, which is a really generous width and relatively smooth and new pavement, kind of parallels the Iowa River Power parking lot and goes north along the river, which is just really pleasant to look at. There's the spillway down there and the bridge that heads east toward Dog Park and Peninsula neighborhood and other places. But you can see this is really a pleasant ride, and as we get further away from the street, you'll hear less of that traffic and can enjoy the ride. There's a little bump here which I suspect has to do with containment of water if there's ever a flood. Now as we continue heading north, you'll notice that the trail gets a little narrower, not too much. On the left or west side of the trail here, you can see there's a pretty sizable mound of dirt. Occasionally you'll see trucks working in there. Thank you. And as far as riding etiquette, what you saw there was pretty typical. If somebody is approaching, they'll usually ring a bell, or they'll say, on your left, and that helps to maintain safety on the trails, to always let folks know that you're nearby. And if you're riding a bike or going for a walk, it's helpful to try not to have headphones on or earbuds in or music too loud, because you do want to be aware of your surroundings. Now, this area to the left really just goes a couple of blocks, but it's a holdover from what had been in this Coralville area just south of Interstate 80. It was zoned sort of industrial, and so there's some of these corrugated metal buildings, etc. It's not that beautiful, but it's slowly getting developed, and certainly just beyond there, just north of what I'd call the old industrial city there, is some really nice development, which you're going to see here in a minute. There's a sign here showing a complete map of the sculpture walk. And not only is there a sculpture walk in here, again, I'm just following this trail, hugging the river, going north, but not only is there a sculpture art walk here, but there's also a wetlands education center that the city of Coralville put quite a bit of time into developing, and they maintain it, and there's some great informational signs for those wanting to learn more about the history behind Coralville. And again, to explain some of this landscaping here, you'll notice that I'm up on a bit of a berm that's been created to help mitigate and prevent damage from high waters. It doesn't happen often, but if the river's running a little high, that helps prevent flooding. So here's one entrance to the wetland park. Something that's being done here in Coralville, which is really quite nice, is an effort to maintain the natural vegetation, you know, the wetlands and the wild grasses that would normally be here. And you'll see these signs, I'm going past them pretty quickly, but they go into more depth explaining the plant life and animal life that exists here, a little bit about the prairie grasses. You can't quite see the river, but it's just beyond where you see the grass there. So this is part art walk and part wetland park. Now as we get closer and closer to Interstate 80, which is just ahead of us, just north of us, you'll start to hear the cars and semi-trucks there. But this is just a really, really pleasant ride, and if it's late in the day, into the evening or early in the morning, you'll find that you get quite a bit of shade here from the trees on the right and the left, so it's a nice place to be in the summer. Now I won't go into the wetland park here in this shorter video, but I have a full video of that wetland park. It's really fun to explore. You can ride slowly in there. It's intended probably more for walking, but if you ride your bike in there, you can ride along the metal walkway. Now there's going to be some background noise here in this final loop because I'll be riding very close to, or somewhat close to the interstate you can see there in the distance. And at this point then, I've reached sort of the furthest edge of the trail, and it's turning now. We're looking west and turning back around and heading south, heading back in toward the Iowa River Landing area. Now you may want to find your own sort of creative ways to get either through the parking ramp and exiting out, or going back into the wetlands park. But from here there are only steps, so you'd have to walk your bike a little bit up over these steps, or if you turn, as I said, you can go into this parking ramp, and using caution you could go just through here and to the exit. I think some people prefer not to carry the bike up steps, so I'll just show you this kind of shortcut. And from here we will find the exit. And you can just kind of go through this pedestrian access area here. And there we are. So there's the hotel, the Marriott here in the Iowa River Landing, and to my right is a brewery. It's called Back Pocket Brewery. There are a number of other restaurants, coffee shops, other stores. You can find just about anything here in this Iowa River Landing area, including a antique car museum. There's quite a bit to see, and there's shopping. So that kind of wraps up the video. There's some development going on here, but anyway, it's an important segment. You wouldn't necessarily go from here any further unless you wanted to go over the interstate and follow the trail, and if you were to do that, you'd need to ride up to the light ahead of me and then be on the west side of the street to cross over the bridge and head north further to the Oakdale area. But that'll cover in another video. So thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions or requests. Have a great day.